how's everyone doing today? Hello, Kakarot. Hello, Claria. Hi, how are you guys doing today? How are you guys hanging? How are you guys faring? How you guys doing well? You guys taking care of yourselves? Hello, 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 hello. I'm on time today. I'm on time today, you guys. I'm on time today. You okay, started on time? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. But good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing today? I hope everyone's doing well. I just woke up not that long ago. Had to scarf down my breakfast while setting up. I'm fairly tired. It's a gloomy day in my end of the world. Rainy, gloomy. It's been raining and gloomy for like the last few days. Like even on days where I think, oh, it's gonna be nice and sunshiny. Nope, rain. So I'm fairly worn out. I'm kind of just here. My cats are going crazy. It's a mayhem today. It's a little bit of mayhem today. But today we're going to be reading some stories from Sherlock Holmes, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. It is a lovely Sherlock Holmes character. I am excited to read that to you today. I actually got a whole new book, a whole new Sherlock Holmes book, and I haven't even read it yet. I was saving it just for you guys. Like even to the point where the ribbon bookmark. Ugh, I haven't even pulled it out yet. It's all neat and straight looking. Ugh. Anyway, how are you guys doing today? Kakara, how are you doing today? Claria, how are you doing today? I hope you guys are doing well. Glad you guys are here. But yes, I have another physical book. I've been trying to dig into my library lately to get my actual books instead of just the digital ones. Something about holding a book in my hand feels a little bit more, I don't know. It makes me feel kind of awesome. Let's see, there are some stories here. There's only a few in this book. It's not a very large book. It's a good sized book, but it's not a very large one. You guys know the Sherlock Holmes stories tend to be very large. So I'm just looking for a good one to start with. I think I might just start with the first one and work our way down. You know? Just work our way down. Yeah. Let's see. Tomorrow is gonna be a gameplay stream. I don't know if we're gonna do Monster Prom. I know Cal has been busy lately, so it may not be Monster Prom. It may be another one of the Strange. It may be the last game in the Strange Men series. I've been wanting to play it. I've been wanting to play it lately, so I might end up doing that instead tomorrow. I'm not sure. I'll be able to let you guys know by tonight. But exciting. Okay, so let me get into it. I think we could read a few stories today. I think one or two, maybe three if we run through them enough. Run through it fast enough. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are 10 stories in this book that I have. Wait a sec, Sherlock Holmes? Yeah, we're reading Sherlock Holmes. We're going for the classics. We're going back to the classics. But yeah, so there's 10 stories here. I think we could knock out like 2 or 3 today. So yeah, could definitely be able to knock out a few of them today. Alright, let's see. That's the introduction. Alright, so I'm looking forward to your reaction when you see the fan art. Listen, I'm excited. I cannot wait. You say fan art, I'm already excited because I love getting fan art. Like I said, I save all the fan art that everyone makes for me. It's very special. It's very, very special. I just look at it and I'm like, oh my god, these are... Like, anytime I feel a little bit sad or feel like I'm not doing well as a, as an entertainer, as a VTuber, I look at those artworks and it just makes me smile. Because, it's very special. It's very special. Like, it's very, very special. I'm excited. I can't wait. I mean, I can wait. I can totally wait. So take your time. Do it at your own pace. I'm just excited. I'm excited. Okay. Is my settings good? Yes. Is everything working? Yes. My glasses are on because lately my eyes have been very sore lately. I don't wear my glasses while I'm here with you guys. Like IRL. Because it messes with the eye tracking. Like, look what happens to my eyes when I do it. My eyes get a little... I'm not doing it so much now, but it gets a little wonky. They don't focus for some reason. So I usually keep the glasses off so that way my eye tracking works. But I'm pulling them on today, so my eyes are a little wonky, or my model gets a little wonky. just leave it as it is. Wanna just say a quick hello, have things to do as I can't watch. That's alright, Cyril. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you so much for stopping by to say hello. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And the rest of your, I think it's evening where you are? Afternoon, evening? Either way, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And hopefully you can come back to this VOD later just to listen to the stories. We're reading some classics today. We're reading some Sherlock Holmes. So I hope you can come by later on and enjoy the story time. You're lovely and wonderful, and I hope to see you again soon. Alright, I got the first story. Here. It's called The Musgrave Ritual. Classic. So we're gonna get started. I'm just gonna have a quick sip of my tea. Today I have a tea from the brand Bigelow called Lemon Lift, which is my favorite lemon tasting tea because it's not super lemony. It's like lemons and spices. It's very good. It's very good. A little honey with it. Oh, heaven. Anyway. Alright. The Musgrave Ritual. An anomaly which often struck me in the character of my friend Sherlock Holmes was that, although in his method of thought he was the neatest and most methodical of mankind, and although he affected a certain quiet primness of dress, he was nonetheless, in his personal habits, one of the most untidy men that ever drove a fellow lodger to distraction. Not that I am in the least conventional in that respect myself. The rough and tumble work in Afghanistan, coming on the top of a natural bohemianism of disposition, has made me rather more lax than befits a medical man. But with me there is a limit, and when I find a man who keeps his cigars in the coal scuttle, his tobacco in the tail end of a Persian slipper, and his unanswered correspondence transfixed by a jackknife into the very center of his wooden mantelpiece, then I begin to give myself virtuous airs. Hold on 1 second. My sound setting's a little funky, hold on. Sorry, my sound settings were working weird, so I had to kind of get under the table to kind of refix all my wires and junk. It was weird. Okay, hold on. Let's see. Where was I? I have always held to that pistol practice should distinctly be an open-air pastime. And when Holmes, in one of his queer humors, would sit in an armchair with hair trigger and 100 boxer cartridges, and proceed to adorn the opposite wall with a patriotic VR done in bullet pox, I felt strongly that neither the atmosphere or the appearance of our room was improved by it. Let's see where am I? Our chambers were always full of chemicals and of criminal relics, which had a way of wandering into unlikely positions, and of turning up in the butter dish, or even less desirable places. But his papers were my great crooks. He had a horror of destroying documents, especially those which were connected with his past cases, and yet it was only once in every year or two that he would muster energy to docket and arrange them. For, as I have mentioned somewhere in these incoherent memoirs, the outbursts of passionate energy which he performed, the remarkable feats with which his name is associated, were followed by reactions of lethargy, during which he would lie about with his violin and his books, hardly moving, save from the sofa to the table. Thus, month after month, his papers accumulated, until every corner of the room was stacked with bundles of manuscript, which were on no account to be burned, and which could not be put away to save by their owner. Oh my gosh. One winter's night, as we sat together by the fire, I ventured to suggest to him that as he had finished pasting extracts into his commonplace book, he might employ the next 2 hours in making our room a little more habitable. He could not deny the justice of my request, so with a rather rueful face, he... Yes, Beans. You heard that? That was Beans. You need to leave? You want me to open the door? Okay, give me a second. I gotta let Beans out. I gotta let Beans out. What's wrong, Beans? You wanna get out? You wanna go outside? Here you go, Mama. Go outside. Good seconds. Watch. A little later, she's gonna meow to come back in. She's gonna come back in. Meow. Who wants to come back in? I keep the door closed now because, since I'm in the main part of the house, a lot of the assistants who aren't working or, you know, are waiting to start working in the basements, they come upstairs, they watch TV, they make noise. So I keep the door closed. This is one of the reasons why I hate living upstairs in the main house. I'd rather be in the sub-basements where it's quieter. Well, maybe not quieter, but, you know, less distracting, less noise. You know, it feels like it's so much noisier up here in the main house than in the sub-basements. I miss it. Oh well. Well, cat appeared. That was Beans. Some of you guys know I have 2 cats, Beans and Bibby. Beans is a very vocal girl. She really likes to talk. Anytime she wants something or needs something or just wants attention, meow, meow. And she's loud. You can hear it throughout the whole house. Meow. And she's a funny girl. She always likes to announce when she has to poop, which is always funny to me. Like, she has to poop, she has to announce it to the whole house. So yeah, all you hear is meow, 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 and I'm like, what the hell? As soon as I see her in her little box, I'm like, okay, she's pooping. She has to announce it to the world. It's so funny, it's so silly. My cats are funny. Where was I? Where was I in the story? Here we go. He could not deny the justice of my request, so with a rather rueful face, he went off to his bedroom, from which he returned presently pulling a large tin box behind him. This he placed in the middle of the floor, and squatting down upon a stool in front of it, he threw back the lid. I could see that it was already a third full of bundles of paper tied up with red tape into separate packages. These are the cases enough here, Watson, he said, looking at me with mischievous eyes. Oh, by the way, my cat has given birth today, and she hid herself and her children in an area and didn't leave. Yeah, congratulations. Congratulations on being a cat grandparent. It's a beautiful, lovely, wonderful thing. And 2, yeah, cats, whenever cats give, yep, there she goes. I hear her. She's like, I want to come in. Whenever cats give birth, they get very protective of their babies, so they end up always, if they don't already have a nest, they're gonna make one. They'll make one for protecting their babies and nursing them and stuff. It happens. Beans, you wanna come back in? Do you not know how to make up your mind, madam? Come in. She didn't know whether she wanted to be in or out. But yeah, well, so when Mama's, come. You want attention? Is that what you want? This is the worst time to be asking for attention, pretty girl. Because when she wants attention, she wants attention. Like, she's gonna be like, all up in your face, like, hey, pet me. She's a very demanding girl. Oh, you gonna go to your basket? Going into your basket, pretty girl? Yeah, she's gonna go into her oh, you guys lost me for a second there. I turned around and like disappeared. She's gonna go in her basket. Well, about that, I'm kind of a great grandparent. Oh, look at that! That's even better. Just make sure you make sure the mama cat has plenty of food and water. She's gonna be very tired after giving birth. Beans, can you not make up your mind? In, out, in, out. What's wrong, mamas? Come here. Come here, pretty girl. I can't pet you if you're all the way over there. Come here. Come, pretty girl. Oh, you're so sweet. You're just a sweet girl. Yes, you are. Don't rub up against the wires. Come on the table. Okay, that way I can pet you. She's like directly under my feet, so I'm like, how am I supposed to pet you if you're underneath me, madam? Come here. Oh, come here. I'm trying to grab her, but she's just like, no, Mom, I want you to pet me where I lay. She's a funny girl that way. Come. No? Hidey whole time? Okay. She's a funny girl. Quirky. She's a quirky little girl. That's what I like to call her. Quirky. Now let's see, where was I think she's gonna sit in her little hidey hole for a while. I made sure that when I moved up into this room, along with Lemmy, I made a bunch of hidey holes for her to stay in. Yeah, she's still taken care of. She's a spoiled child of the house. I can relate. Both of my kids are spoiled as heck too. Yeah, I made sure when I moved up to the bedrooms from the sub basements that I made some hidey holes for the cats, because that was one thing that was lacking in the older room. Just like little places where they can hide and lay and rest and stuff. I try to make sure that they have that space. Beans! Looks like today's going to be a cat-centric stream. Beans, come! Come up here, Mama. Come up here, pretty girl. Come. Come, up. Come. Come. That's a good girl. Just don't knock down the TV and I think we'll be fine. Jumped up on my other table. Yes, that's the microphone, Mamas. I know you like to rub up against it. Just watch your face, okay? I don't want you to get caught in the wire. You're so pretty. You're so pretty. You're so mischievous. Come here. Come here. Come here. No? Like I said, spoiled babies. Spoiled babies. She's just gonna be trapezing around the room and making noise until she's satisfied, and then she'll go to her little basket and sleep. All right, let's get back to the story. Let's get back to the story. I mean, she gets to eat fish every weekend. Anyway, back to the story, or the cat. I think she's calmed down some now, so I think I can start the story time again. Every time I turn, I disappear. What the hell? It's so weird. Anyway. These are the cases enough here, Watson, he said, looking at me with mischievous eyes. I think that if you knew all that I have in this box, you would ask me to pull some out instead of putting others in. These are the records of your early work, then, I asked. I have often wished that I had notes of those cases. Yes, my boy. These were all done prematurely before my biographer had come to glorify me. He lifted bundle after bundle and tender... Ma'am. What are you messing with? She's messing with something under my bed. Nah, she'll be alright. Yes, my boy, these were all done prematurely before my biographer had come to glorify me. He lifted bundle after bundle in a tender, caressing sort of way. They are not all successes, Watson, he said. There are some pretty little problems among them. Here's the record of the Tarleton murders and the case of Vembry, the wine merchant, and the adventure of the old Russian woman, and the singular affair of the aluminum crutch, as well as full account of Recoletti, of the clubfoot, and his abominable wife. And here, now, this really is something a little recherché. He dived his arms down to the bottom of the chest and brought up a small wooden box with a sliding lid, such as children's toys are kept in. From within he produced a crumpled piece of paper, an old-fashioned brass key, a peg of wood with a ball of string attached to it, and 3 rusty old discs of metal. Well, my boy, what do you make of this lot? He asked, smiling at my expression. It is a curious collection. Very curious. And the story that hangs around it will strike you as being more curious still. These relics have a history, then. So much so that they are history. What do you mean by that? Sherlock Holmes picked them up one by one and laid them along the edge of the table. He then reseated himself in his chair and looked at them over with a gleam of satisfaction in his eye. These, he said, are all that I have left to remind myself of the episode of the Musgrave ritual. I had heard him mention the case more than once, though I had never been able to gather all the details. I should be so glad, said I, that if you would give me an account of it. And leave the litter as it is? He cried mischievously. Your tidiness won't bear much strain after all, Watson, but I should be glad that you should add this case to your annals. For there are points in which make it quite unique in the criminal record of this, or, I believe, of any country. A collection of my trifling achievements would certainly be incomplete which contain no account of this very singular business. You may remember how the affair of the Gloria Scott, in my conversation with the unhappy man whose fate I told you of, first turned my attention in the direction of the profession which has become my life's work. You see me now when my name has become known far and wide, and when I am generally recognized by both the public and by the official force as being a final court of appeal in doubtful cases. Even when you knew me first, at the time of the affair which you have commemorated in A Study in Scarlet, I had already established a considerable, though not very lucrative, connection. You can hardly realize that. Ma'am, excuse you, get down from there. You're gonna knock things down. I don't care. You're very pretty, but I don't need you standing on my vanity like that. You're gonna knock all my stuff down. Go. Go. Good girl. Nice jump. You guys should have seen that jump. She jumps from my vanity to the bed, which is not very close to the other, so that was a good jump. Good jump. Where was I? Even when you knew me first, at the time of the affair, which you have commemorated in A Study in Scarlet, I have already established a considerable, though not very lucrative, connection. You could hardly realize then how difficult I found it at first, and how long I had to wait before I succeeded in making any headway. When I first came up to London, I had rooms in Montague Street, just around the corner from the British Museum, and there I waited, filling in my too abundant leisure time by studying all those branches of science which might make me more efficient. Now and again cases came in my way, principally through the introduction of old fellow students, for during my last years at the university there was a good deal of talk there about myself and my methods. The third of these cases was that of the Musgrave ritual, and it is to the interest which was aroused by that singular chain of events, and the large issue which proved to be at stake, that I traced my first stride towards the position which I now hold. Reginald Musgrave had been in the same college as myself, and I had some slight acquaintance with him. He was not generally popular amongst the undergraduates, though it always seemed to me that what was set down as pride was really an attempt to cover an extreme natural difference. In appearance, he was a man of exceedingly aristocratic type, thin, high-nosed, and large-eyed, with languid yet courtly manners. He was indeed a scion of one of the very oldest families in the kingdom, though his branch was a cadet one which had separated from Northern Musgraves sometime in the 16th century, had established itself in the western Sussex, which the manor house of Hurlstone is perhaps the oldest inhabited building in the country. Something of his birthplace seemed to cling to the man, and I never looked at his pale, keen face or the poise of his head without associating him with the great archways, the mullioned windows, and all the venerable wreckage of a feudal keep. Now and again we drifted into talk, and I can remember that more than once he expressed a keen interest in my method of observation and inference. For 4 years, I have seen nothing of him, until one morning he walked into my room in Montague Street. He had changed little, was dressed like a young man of fashion. He was always a bit of a dandy, and preserved the same quiet, suave manner which had formerly distinguished him. How has all gone with you, Musgrave? I asked, after we had cordially shaken hands. You probably heard of my poor father's death, he said. He was carried off about 2 years ago. Since then I have, of course, had the Hurlstone estate to manage, and as I am a member of the district as well, my life has been a busy one. But I understand, Holmes, that you are turning to practical ends those powers with which you used to amaze us. Yes, said I. I have taken to living by my wits. I am delighted to hear it, for your advice at present would be exceedingly valuable to me. We have had some very strange doings at Hurlstone, and the police have been able to throw no light upon the matter. It is really the most extraordinary and inexplicable business. You can imagine with what eagerness I listened to him, Watson, for the very chance for which I had been painting during all those months of inaction seemed to have come within my reach. In my inmost heart, I believed that I could succeed where others failed, and now I had the opportunity to test myself. Pray let me have the details, I cried. Reginald Musgrave sat down opposite to me and lit a cigarette which I had pushed towards him. You must know, he said, that though I am a bachelor, I have to keep up a considerable staff of servants at Hurlstone, for it is a rambling old place, and takes a good deal of looking after. I preserve two, and in the pheasant months, I usually have a house party, so that it would not do to be short-handed. Although there are 8 maids, the cook, the butler, 2 footmen, and a boy. The garden and the stables, of course, have a separate staff. Of these servants, the one who has been longest in our service was Brunton, the butler. He was a young schoolmaster out of place when he was first taken up by my father, but he was a man of great energy and character, and soon he became quite invaluable in the household. He was well-grown, handsome man with a splendid forehead, and though he has been with us for 20 years, he cannot be more than 40 now. But his personal advantages and his extraordinary gifts, for he can speak several languages and play nearly every musical instrument, it is wonderful that he should have been satisfied so long in such a position, but I suppose that he was comfortable and lacked the energy to make any change. The butler of Hurlstone is always the thing that is remembered by all who visit us. But this paragon has one fault. He is a bit of a Don Juan, and you can imagine that for a man like him, it is not very difficult part to play in a quiet country district. But when he was married, it was all right. But since he has been a widower, we have had no end of trouble with him. A few months ago, we were in hopes that he was about to settle down again, for he became engaged to Rachel Howells, our second housemaid. But he has thrown her over since then and taken up with Janet Triglis. Excuse me. Real question is can he play the flute? Maybe. Hi Rowan, how are you doing today? so good to see you. So good to see you. Yes. Where was I? All right. But he has thrown her over since then and taken up with Janet Triglis, the daughter of the head gamekeeper. Rachel, who is a very good girl, but of an excitable Welsh temperament, had a sharp touch of brain fever, and goes about the house now, or did until yesterday, like a black-eyed shadow of her former self. This is our first drama at Hurlstone, but a second one came to drive it from our minds, and it was prefaced by the disgrace and dismissal of Butler Brunton. Apart from being sick, oh no, I hope you feel better. I hope you feel better, Rowan, I do. Happy face, happy face. Happy face, Claudia, happy face. Happy faces all around. But I hope you feel better, Rowan. Being sick is awful. I think I am also getting sick with how this weather has been lately. Rainy and gloomy and chilly. I hope not. But, you know. But I do hope you feel better. Let me get back to the story. Tea. Delicious warm tea. This is how it came about. I have said that the man was intelligent, and this very intelligence has caused his ruin. For it seems to have led into an insatiable curiosity about things which did not in the least concern him. I had no idea of the lengths to which this would carry him until the merest accident opened my eyes to it. I have said that the house is a rambling one. One day last week, on Thursday night to be more exact, I found that I could not sleep. having foolishly taken a cup of strong cafe noir after my dinner. After struggling against it until 2 in the morning, I felt that it was quite hopeless, so I rose and lit the candle with the intention of continuing a novel which I was reading. The book, however, has been left in the billiard room, so I put on my dressing gown and started off to get it. In order to reach the billiard room, I had to descend a flight of stairs, and then to cross the head of a passage which led to the library and the gun room. You can imagine my surprise when I looked down this corridor. I saw a glimmer of light coming from the open door of the library. I had myself extinguish the lamp and close the door before coming to bed. Naturally, my first thought was of burglars. The corridors at Hurlston have their walls largely decorated with trophies of old weapons. From one of these I picked a battle axe. Then, leaving my candle behind me, I crept on tiptoe down the passage and peered into the open door. Brunton the butler was in the library. He was sitting, fully dressed in an easy chair, with a slip of paper which looked like a map upon his knee, and his forehead sunk forward upon his hand in deep thought. I stood, dumb with astonishment, watching him from the darkness. A small taper on the edge of the table shed feeble light, which sufficed to show me that he was fully dressed. Suddenly, as I looked, he rose from his chair and walked over to a bureau at the side. He unlocked it and drew out one of the drawers. From this he took a paper, and, returning to his seat, he flattened it out beside the taper on the edge of the table, and began to study it with minute attention. My indignation at this calm examination of our family documents overcame me so far that I took a step forward, and Burton looked up and saw me standing in the doorway. He sprang to his feet, his face turned livid with fear, and he thrust into his breast the chart-like paper which he had been originally studying. "So," said I, "this is how you repay the trust in which we have reposed you. You will leave my service tomorrow." He bowed with the look of a man who is utterly crushed, and slunk past me without a word. The taper was still on the table, and by its light I glanced to see what the paper was which Brunton had taken from the bureau. To my surprise, there was nothing of any importance at all, but simply a copy of the questions and answers in the singular old observance called the Musgrave Ritual. It is a sort of ceremony peculiar to our family, which each Musgrave, for centuries past, had gone through on his coming of age. A thing of private interest, and perhaps some of little importance to the archaeologist, like our own blazonings and charges, but of no practical use whatsoever. "We had better come back to the paper afterwards," said I. "If you think it really necessary," he answered, with some hesitation. To continue my statement, however, I relocked the bureau, using the key which Brunton had left, and I had turned to go, when I was surprised to find the butler had returned and was standing before me. "Mr. Musgrave, sir," he cried, in a voice which was hoarse with emotion. "I can't bear disgrace, sir. I've always been proud above my station in life. Disgrace would kill me. My blood will be on your head, sir. It will indeed, if you drive me to despair. If you cannot keep me after what has passed, then for God's sakes let me give you notice and leave in a month, as if of my own free will. I could stand that, Mr. Musgrave, but not to be cast out before all the folk that I know so well. You don't deserve much consideration, Brunton," I answered. "Your conduct has been most infamous. However, if you have been a long time in the family, I have no wish to bring public disgrace upon you. A month, however, is too long. Take yourself away in a week, and give whatever reason you like for going." "Only a week, sir?" he cried in a despairing voice. "A fortnight. At least say a fortnight." "A week," I repeated, "and you may consider yourself to have been very leniently dealt with." He crept away, his face sunk upon his breast, like a broken man, while I pulled out the light and returned to my room. For 2 days after this, Brunton was most assiduous in his attention to his duties. I made no allusions to what had passed, and waited with some curiosity to see how he would cover his disgrace. On the third morning, however, he did not appear, as was his custom, after breakfast to receive my instruction for the day. As I left the dining room, I happened to meet Rachel Howells, the maid. I have told you that she had only recently recovered from an illness, and was looking so wretchedly pale and wan that I remonstrated with her for being at work. You should be in bed, I said. Come back to your duties when you are stronger. She looked at me with so strange an expression that I began to suspect that her brain was affected. I am strong enough, Mr. Musgrave, she said. We will see what the doctor says, I answered. You must stop work now, and when you go downstairs, just say that I wish to see Brunton. The butler is gone, she said. Gone? Gone where? He is gone. No one has seen him. He's not in his room. Oh yes, he is gone. He is gone! She fell back against the wall with a shriek after shriek of laughter, while I, horrified at the sudden hysterical attack, rushed to the bell to summon help. The girl was taken to her room, still screaming and sobbing, while I made inquiries about Brunton. There was no doubt about it that he had disappeared. His bed had not been slept in. He had not been seen by no one since he had retired to his room the night before, and yet it was difficult to see how he could have left the house, as both windows and doors were found to be fastened in the morning. His clothes, his watch, and even his money were in his room, but the black suit which he usually wore was missing. His slippers, too, were gone, but his boots were left behind. Where, then, could Butler Brunton have gone in the night, and what could have become of him now? Of course, we searched the house and by the outhouses, but there was no trace of him. It is, as I have said, a labyrinth of an old building, especially the original wing, which is not practically uninhibited. But we ransacked every room and cellar without discovering the least sign of a missing man. It was incredible to me that he could have gone away, leaving all his property behind him. Yet where could he be? Sir, don't you dare jump on that. Don't you dare jump on that. No. No. Bobby, come here. Don't you dare jump on my vanity, because you're gonna knock things down. Hi, Jack. Hello. How are you doing today? I am scolding my cats for being chaotic little gremlins today. Boo-boo. Please get down from there. Get down. I gotta go manhandle a cat. Excuse me. Mr. Mayans. What have I told you about jumping up on things that you're not supposed to? Come here. What are you doing? What are you doing, big boy, huh? Why are you, Mr. Man, Mr. Booby, Mr. I'm gonna jump on everything and not listen to my mama? Why are you being a bad boy for, huh? What's going on? Nope, sit. You get to sit with mama now, because you're being a bad boy. Yep, you get to sit with mama now, because you're being a bad boy. Yeah, you are. Yes, you are. You're jumping on things you're not supposed to. The cat needs to learn some manners. Both my cat needs to learn some manners. Hi, Wasabi. How you doing today, buddy? How you doing today? Both my cats need to learn manners. Beans was just acting up herself, being loud and obnoxious. And now the Booby boy, Mr. Booby, is acting like a bad boy. You need to learn some manners, mister. You need to learn some manners. You need to not jump on things you're not supposed to jump on. You're too big for that. You're a big chungus of a cat. You're not supposed to jump on stuff like that. Yeah, aw. You like the chin scratches? You like the chin scratches? You don't like being yelled at in front of the internet? No, you don't. The cat's getting grounded. Oh, yes he is. He is getting his butt. He is grounded. He's not sitting with his mama. I'm taking a quick break. He's sitting with his mama. Alright, buddy? You're gonna sit here with your mama. You're gonna behave yourself. I'm gonna have to put you on timeout. I don't want to put you on timeout, buddy. I don't want to put you on timeout. You're a good boy. Grounded. Yes, he is. I'm gonna sit here and be good. Gonna sit here and be good, buddy? Yeah, you are. Alright, where was I? Let's see. I'm gonna readjust myself because now he's sitting in a place where... No, I'm grounding him. He's gonna be grounded because he has a bad habit of jumping on things where he's not supposed to. And knocking things down. And I have a lot of breakable stuff that I try to keep out of their reach, but he's just the adventurous type. He likes to push his limits, knowing that he's not supposed to jump on certain things. So he'll get grounded. He'll get put on the bed, and he'll be made to sleep and be comfy, cozy. He's just lucky I didn't bring out the spray bottle. Because I don't... Some people spank their cats. I don't spank my cats. I use a spray bottle full of clean water. So whenever they are acting up, I just go tss, 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 And they, oh, his ears perked up at that. Don't worry, Bubba, I'm not gonna spray you right now. You're behaving yourself. So, half the time I don't even have to spray them. I shake the bottle and they're like, oh no. He's a good boy. He's a good boy. You need to calm down. Do what your sister's doing. Go take a nap. You sit here. You gonna sit here with Mama? Yeah. Oh, that good chin scratches. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Some good chin scratches. Send that cat to the ranch? Nah, he's an indoor cat. He would not survive the outside world. He's too much of a fluff. A mush. Make my cats play the scary maze game to punish them? That's mean. Don't scare your cats. My cats are spoiled. They are very much loved in this household. Alright, you done? You done, buddy? You gonna find a nice comfy spot to laze in? Or you gonna knock down my teddy bears again? You gonna chill out? You gonna chill? You gonna sit here and chill? You gonna sit here and chill? You be a good boy? Yeah, you're a good boy. You're a good boy. You're a good boy. Go sit. Go sit. Yeah, that's a good boy. Sitting down. He's getting better with the commands. He's learning. He's learning. He's a good boy. He's learning. We're not gonna even get through one story today. Watch. There's too much cat commotion happening today. Too much kitty commotion, right, sir? All right, let's get back to it. There we go. Where was I? Of course, okay. Here we go. Of course we searched the house and the outhouses, but there was no trace of him. It is, as I have said, a labyrinth of an old building, especially the original wing, which is now practically uninhabited, but we ransacked every room and cellar without discovering the least sign of the missing man. It was incredible to me that he could have gone away, leaving all his property behind him, and yet where could he be? I called in the local police, but without success. Rain had fallen on the night before, and we examined the lawn and the paths all around the house, but it was in vain. Matters were in this state when a new development quite drew our attention away from the original mystery. For 2 days, Rachel Howells had been so ill, sometimes delirious, sometimes hysterical, that her nurse had been employed to sit up with her at night. On the third night after Brenton's disappearance, the nurse, finding her patient sleeping nicely, had dropped into a nap in the armchair. When she woke in the early morning to find the bed empty, the window open, and no signs of the invalid. I was instantly aroused, and with the 2 footmen started off at once in search of the missing girl. It was not difficult to tell the direction which she had taken, for, starting from under her window, we could follow her footmarks easily across the lawn to the edge of the mare, where they vanished, close to the gravel path which led out of the grounds. The lake there is 8 feet deep, and you can imagine our feelings when we saw that the trail of the poor demented girl came to an end at the edge of it. Of course, we had the drags at once, and set to work to recover the remains, but no trace of the body we could find. On the other hand, we brought to the surface an object of a most unexpected kind. It was a linen bag, which contained within it a mass of old rusted and discolored metal and several dull-colored pieces of pebble or glass. This strange find was all that we could get from the mare. And although we made every possible search and inquiry yesterday, we know nothing of the fate of either Rachel Howells or of Richard Brunton. The county police are at their wits' end, and I have come up to you as a last resource. You can imagine, Watson, with what eagerness I listened to this extraordinary sequence of events, and endeavored to piece them together, and to devise some common thread upon which they might all hang. The butler was gone. The maid was gone. The maid had loved the butler, but had afterwards had cause to hate him. She was of Welsh blood, fiery and passionate. She had been terribly excited immediately after his disappearance. She had flung into the lake a bag containing some curious contents. These are all factors which had been taken into consideration, and yet none of them got quite to the heart of the matter. What was the starting point of this chain of events? There lay the end of this tangled line. Excuse me. Ugh. Still got the allergies. They're still very sniffly. It's awful. It's awful. I must see the paper Musgrave, I said, which this butler of yours thought was worth his while to consult, even at the risk of his loss of his place. I am a little mushmuck today. I didn't do my verbal prose today. It kind of messed me up. Oh well. It is rather an absurd business, this ritual of ours, he answered, but it has at least the saving grace of antiquity to excuse it. I have a cup. Ugh, words are hard. Allergies? I barely know. That one was a stretch. That one's a stretch, Wasabi, but I appreciate the effort. Okay, let me try that again. It's a rather absurd business, this ritual of ours, he answered, but has at least the saving grace of antiquity to excuse it. I have a copy of the questions and answers here, if you care to run your eye over them. He handed me the very paper which I have here, Watson, and this is the strange catechism to which each Musgrave had to submit when he came to the man to Sir, don't make me throw something at you. Get down. Get down. Down. Good boy. I threw a small notebook at him. When I say notebook, I'm like a little half-used post-it note. He's fine. It's just he looked at it like, what? Okay. Smart. Little smart aleck. He's a little smart aleck. Okay, let's go. It was like a very light like a tiny, like a quarter, not even a quarter, like an eighth of a stack of post-it note. Silly. It was funny. Oh, it was funny. It just tossed it at him. It hit him in the side. It fell down. He looked at it like, what the hell? He was like confused, like, what the fuck? Oh, he's such a funny boy. He takes after his mama. Big Oxford dictionary. I don't even have a dictionary. I wish I had a dictionary. That way I can learn more words. Not that I don't know words, but you know. Sometimes I forget what certain words mean. Sir, I am watching you. Go to your bed. Go to the bed. Being a little pain in the butt now. He handed me the very paper which I have here, Watson, and this is the strange catechism to which each Musgrave had to submit when he came to a man's estate. I have another notebook, sir. I will not hesitate to chuck it at you. John, hello. How are you doing today? Learn this word. Vergestelorpel. Is that even a really? Is that a real word? Isn't that even a real word? I don't know if that's a real word. All right, let me get back to the story. Yeah. I will read you the questions and answers as they stand. Who is it? His who is gone. Who shall have it? He who will come. What was the month? The 6th from the 1st. Where was the sun? Over the oak. Where was the shadow? Under the elm. How was it stepped? North by 10 and by 10, east by 5 and by 5, south by 2 and by 2, west by 1 and by 1, and so under. And what shall we give for it? All that is ours. Why should we give it? For the sake of the trust. The original has no date, but it is the spelling of the middle of the 17th century, remarked Musgrave. I am afraid, however, that it could be a little help to you in solving this mystery. You good? You eat some chicken? Delicious. Chicken? Delicious. I had a bagel, because it was my breakfast. So. Bobby! You, sir! sir are going to be in so much trouble if you don't get down right now. He is being... See, he's being a naughty boy today. I gotta go get my cat. Sir, down. What are you doing? Come here. No, come here. Come here. Come here. Don't run. You know you're in trouble. Come here. Come here. Come on, Popo. Come on. You are going to sit in this bed. Nope, you're going to sit in that bed. You're going to behave yourself. Because now you're being a bad boy. You're going to stay on time out. Okay? Just don't make me get the spray bottle. If I have to use this, I will. I know you don't like it. I know you don't like it, sir. Yet. Behave yourself. It's all fun and games. It's all fun and games until I have to get the spray bottle full of water. That cat being a menace to the stream. Oh yeah, they have their days where they're like, I'm gonna make myself known. Today's one of those days. But I have a spray bottle. It's like a simple little spray bottle. You can probably hear. It's full of water. All connected. It's all connected. It is all connected. But all I have to do is shake this, and he doesn't like this. He hates the spray bottle, so all I have to do is shake it, and he'll behave himself. Right, buddy? And you got off your bed. You're not gonna stay in timeout. Of course you're not. But I have it here, so if he starts acting up, I can just spray him, and he'll calm down. Because I don't like some people hit their pets, like they spank them or whatever. I don't like doing that. For me, it's like the same as hitting a child. I don't like doing that. So, I have a spray bottle full of water, and they hate it. So, yes, buddy, he's rubbing up against my legs like he's saying he's sorry. Yes, buddy, I know you're sorry. Here, you want your spot? You want your spot by the table on the table? Here, let me move my keyboard so you can sit there. There. Is that what you wanted? Is that what you wanted? You want to sit on your spot on the table? Is that what you wanted, buddy? There you go. You got your spot, okay? You got your spot, now behave yourself. Oh, the Grand Weaponry spray bottle. It works. A weaponized spray bottle. Listen, have you ever not been sprayed by a spray bottle and not be taken aback and be like, what the fuck? Okay. You know? Like, go ahead, spray when someone's acting up or getting on your nerves, spray them with a spray bottle full of water. See how they react. I guarantee you they'll be more confused than anything and they'll stop what they're doing. Right, buddy? I need you to behave yourself, okay? Come. Come. Turn your butt around and sit. Sit. Good boy. You're gonna get a treat later because you listen. Good boy. Okay, he knows the sit command. He knows down. He just doesn't listen. My boyfriend threatens to spray me with water when I don't take my meds. Yeah, I would spray you with water too if you don't take your meds. Your medications are importante. Very important. So make sure to take your meds properly, okay? I like to spray with orange peel mist, but burn. This orange peel mist is the worst. Because then it gets in your eyes and it's like pepper spray's the worst. Smells amazing. Feels terrible. He's gonna entertain himself with the birds at the window. No thank Alright. Where was I at the story? What is happening in this chat? What the fuck? Oh no. What is happening in the chat? What are you doing? No. Leave the palito alone. Leave it alone. Good boy. Oh god, being held at orange peel, that sounds like the worst. Oh no. Oh no. He's being held hostage by an orange peel. I am definitely gonna continue. I'm definitely gonna continue. Sir, leave the curtain alone. Leave it. Leave it. Leave it. Uh-huh. Anywho. Today is cat chaos. kitty cat chaos. Today is kitty cat chaos. It is kitty cat chaos. Wait, what? I was playing a Naruto. I was playing a Naruto game and see the chat be like, "What the rice cooker happened?" Okay, that's freaking hilarious. If I saw that in my chat, I would die. I would just be on the floor laughing my butt off. I'd be in tears crying. It'd be funny. The orange peel. I have no idea what the orange peel is, but the idea of having someone threaten you with an orange peel mist is absolutely horrifying. Have you ever got orange peel mist in your face before? That hurts. It smells amazing, but the burn that comes with it, especially if it gets in your eyes, oh, it will put you on your ass. I have done that before. Whenever I was cooking, I would get lemon mist or lemon oil or orange oil in my eye by accident. Oh, I'd cry. I'd cry so bad. Oh, it's also like super dangerous. If you have, like, anytime you're working with citrus, you guys, listen. Here's a little life tip from Kind and Considerate. If you ever working with citrus, lemons, limes, oranges, whatever, make sure to thoroughly wash every nook and cranny of your hands. I'm talking between the fingies, every line, every wrinkle, every bend, under the nails. You have to, because the oils from the citrus will stick to your hands. Not just the juice, the oils from the citrus peel can stick to your fingers. And if you expose that to sunlight, you'll get really bad burns. I think it's called something dermatitis. It's like, it's something something. It's basically the sun will use the oils that are on your hand, the citrus oil on your hand, to basically burn your skin. You know, it's very, very painful. Very, very painful. I've had that happen to me a few times before, and I'm like, ow! It's like basically an enhanced sunburn. It's like if you put baby oil on yourself before tanning. It kind of works in that same way. It's like a sizzling burn. So make sure if you deal with citrus and you're about to go outside or whatever, like if you make lemonade or citrus desserts or whatever, just wash your hands very, very thoroughly. Lemons. I love lemons. Lemons are delicious. I love the scent of lemon. I also used to, way back in my early adult life, I used to work as a bartender. So, you know, there would be times when you make a drink and you have to like mist orange oil over it by using an orange peel or lemon peel or whatever over a certain drink just to make it flavorful and aromatic. And I would get like really bad, like basically like chemical burns on my hands because of all the orange and all the citrus oils. So, you know, just be very careful. Very, very careful. Lemons, I like lemons. I will not eat a raw lemon, but I will add them to my tea, or to my desserts, or to my water. Very nice, very tasty. But yeah, so there you go. A little life tip from Kind and Considerate. Wash your hands thoroughly so you don't end up with chemical burns on your hands from the sunlight and citrus oil. Painful, painful, painful. So, alright, let me get back to the story because I've gone way off the rails. Wear a hazmat suit when you work with citrus? I wouldn't say a hazmat suit. I would say like kitchen gloves. You know, like those nitrile gloves that you use for cooking. I would suggest using those instead. That way your hands don't end up getting bad burns. Doesn't happen often, but you know, because most people tend to wash their hands really well. But it is something that does happen. Most people don't realize it, especially if you make like lemonade for the summer. You go outside and you're having a nice glass of lemonade or something like that, or you're on a picnic and stuff. You just gotta be a little careful. I've done that to myself before, going on picnics during the summer. Because during the summer, I love to go out, go to like the city park and have picnics in the park. Because, you know, to enjoy the nice weather, get some fresh air, some exercise. You know, generally not be stuck at home all the time. But sometimes times I make lemonade, because I love making lemonade from scratch. And I end up just roasting my hand by accident because I already have really bad photosensitivity, so it's just even worse. So just take it from your friendly neighborhood cat girl. Wash your hands thoroughly or use gloves when you're dealing with citrus. Alright, let's go back to it. Alright. The original has no date, but it is the spelling of the middle of the 17th century, remarked Musgrave. I'm afraid, however, that it can be of little help to you in solving this mystery. At least, said I, it gives us another mystery, and one which is even more interesting than the first. It may be that the solution of the one may prove to be the solution of the other. You'll excuse me, Musgrave, if I say that your butler appears to me to have been a very clever man, and to have a clearer insight than 10 generations of his masters. I hardly follow you, said Musgrave. The paper seems to me to be of no practical importance. But to me it seems immensely practical, and I fancy that Brunton took the same view. He had probably seen it before that night on which you caught him. It is very possible. We took no pains to hide it. He simply wished, should I imagine, to refresh his memory upon that last occasion. He had, as I understand, some sort of map or chart with which he was comparing with the manuscript, and which he thrust into his pocket when you appeared. That is true, but what could he have done? But what could he have to do with this old family custom of ours? And what does this rigmarole mean? I don't think that we should have much difficulty in determining that, said I. With your permission, we will take the first train down to Sussex, and go a little more deeply into the matter upon the spot. The same afternoon saw us, both at Hurlston. Possibly you have seen the pictures and read descriptions of the famous old building, so I confine my account of it as saying that it is built in the shape of an L, the long arm being the more modern portion, and the shorter the ancient nucleus from which the others have developed. Over the low, heavily lintellated door, in the center of this old part, is chiseled the date 1607, but experts are agreed that the beams in the stonework are really much older than this. The enormously thick walls and tiny windows of this part had, in the last century, driven the family to building the new wing, and the old one was used now as a storehouse, and the cellar, when it was used at all. A splendid park, with the fine old timbers, surrounded the house, and the lake, to which my client had referred, lay close to the avenue, about 200 yards from the building. I was already firmly convinced, Watson, that there was not just 3 separate mysteries here, but only one, and that if I could read the Musgrave ritual aright, I should hold in my hand the clue which would lead me to the truth concerning both the butler Brunton and the maid Howells. To that, then, I turned all my energies. Why should the servant be so anxious to master this old formula? Evidently because he saw something in it which had escaped all those generations of country squires, and from which he expected some personal advantage. What was it, then, and how had it affected his fate? It was perfectly obvious to me on reading the ritual that the measurements must refer to some spot to which the rest of the document alluded, and that if we could find the spot, we should be in a fair way towards knowing what the secret was to which the old Musgraves had thought it necessary to embalm in so curious a fashion. There were 2 guides given us to start with, an oak and an elm. As to the oak, there could be no question at all. Right in front of the house, upon the left-hand side of the drive, there stood a patridge among oaks, one of the most magnificent trees I have ever seen. That was there when your ritual was drawn up, said I, as we drove past it. It was there at the Norman Conquest, in all probability, he answered. It has a girth of 23 feet. Here was one of my fixed points secured. Have you any old elms? I asked. There used to be a very old one over yonder, but it was struck by lightning 10 years ago, and we cut it down to the stump. You can see where it used to be? Oh, yes. There are no other elms. Not old ones, but plenty of breaches. I should like to see where it grew. We had driven up in a dog cart, and my client led me away at once, without entering the house, to the scar on the lawn where the elm had stood. It was nearly midway between the oak and the house. My investigation seemed to be progressing. I suppose it was impossible to find out how high the elm was, I asked. I can give it to you at once. It was 64 feet. How do you come to know it? I asked in surprise. My old tutor used to give me an exercise in trigonometry. It always took the shape of measuring heights. When I was a lad, I worked out every tree and building on the estate. This was an unexpected piece of luck. My data was coming more quickly than I could have reasonably hoped. Tell me, I asked, did your brother ever ask you such a question? Reginald Musgrave looked at me in astonishment. Now that you call it to my mind, he answered. Brunton did ask me about the height of the tree some months ago, in connection with some little argument with the groom. This was excellent news, Watson, for it showed me that I was on the right road. I looked up at the sun. It was low in the heavens, and I calculated that in less than an hour it would lie just above the topmost branches of the old oak. One condition mentioned in the ritual would then be fulfilled. And the shadow of the elm must mean the farther end of the shadow. Otherwise, the trunk would have been chosen as the guide. I had then to find where the far end of the shadow would fall when the sun was just clear of the oak. That must have been difficult, Holmes, when the elm was no longer there. Well, at least I knew that if Brunton could do it, I could also. Besides, there was no real difficulty. I went with Musgrave to his study and whittled myself this peg, to which I tied this long string with a knot at each yard. Then I took 2 lengths of a fishing rod, which came just to 6 feet, and I went back with my client to where the elm had been. The sun was just grazing the top of the oak. I fastened the rod on end, marked out the direction of the shadow, and measured it. It was 9 feet in length. Of course, the calculation now was a simple one. If a rod of 6 feet threw a shadow of 9 feet, a tree of 64 feet would throw one of 96 feet, and the line of one would of course be the line of the other. I measured out the distance, which brought me almost to the wall of the house, and I thrust the peg into the spot. You can imagine my exultation, Watson, when within 2 inches of my peg I saw a conical depression in the ground, and I knew that it was the mark made by Brunton in his measurements, and that I was still upon his trail. Excuse me. From this starting point, I proceeded to step, having first taken the cardinal points by my pocket compass. 10 steps with each foot took me along parallel with the wall of the house, and again I marked my spot with a peg. Then I carefully paced off 5 to the east and 2 to the south. It brought me to the very threshold of the old door. 2 steps to the west meant now that I was going 2 paces down the stone-flagged passage, and this was the place indicated by the ritual. Never had I felt such a cold chill of disappointment, Watson. For a moment it seemed to me that there must be some radical mistake in my calculations. The setting sun shone full upon the passage floor, and I could see that the old foot-worn gray stones, with which it was paved, were firmly cemented together, and had certainly not been moved for many a long year. Brunton had not been at work here. I tapped upon the floor, but it sounded the same all over, and there was no sign of any crack or crevice. But fortunately, Musgrave, who had begun to appreciate the meaning of my proceedings, who was now as excited as myself, took out his manuscript and checked my calculations. "And under," he cried. "You omitted the and under." I had thought that it meant we were to dig, but now, of course, I saw at once that I was wrong. "There is a cellar under this, then," I cried. "Yes, and as old as the house, down here through this door." We went down a winding stone stair, and my companion, striking a match, lit a large lantern which stood on a barrel in the corner. In an instant it was obvious that we had at last come upon the true place, and that we had not been the only people to visit the spot recently. It had been used for the storage of wood, but the billets, which had evidently been littered all over the floor, were now piled at the sides so as to leave a clear space in the middle. In this space lay a large and heavy flagstone, with a rusted iron ring at the center, which a thick shepherd's check muffler was attached. "By Jove!" cried my client, "that's Brunton's muffler. I have seen it on him, and I could swear to it. What has the villain been doing here?" At my suggestion, a couple of the county police were summoned to be present, and I then endeavored to raise the stone by pulling on the cravat. We could only move it slightly, and it was with the aid of one of the constables I succeeded in last carrying it to one side. A black hole yawned beneath, to which we all peered, while Musgrave, kneeling at the side, pushed the lantern down. A small chamber about 7 feet deep and 4 feet square laid open to us. On one side of this was a squat brass-bound wood box, the lid of which was hinged upwards, with this curious old-fashioned key projecting from the lock. It was furred outside by a thick layer of dust, and damp and worms had eaten through the wood so that a crop of livid fungus was growing on the inside of it. Several discs of metal, old coins apparently, such as I hold here, were scattered all over the bottom of the box, but it contained nothing else. At the moment, however, we had no thought for the old chest, for our eyes were riveted upon that which crouched beside it. It was the figure of a man, clad in a suit of black, who squatted down upon his hams, with his forehead sunk upon the edge of the box, and his 2 arms thrown out to either side of it, thrown out on each side of it. The attitude had drawn all the stagnant blood to his face, and no man could have recognized that distorted, liver-colored countenance. But his height, his dress, and his hair were all sufficient to show my client, when he had drawn the body up, that it was indeed his missing butler. He had been dead some days. There was no wound or bruise upon his person to show how he had met his dreadful end. Sir. Thank you. Booby. He had been dead some days, but there was no wound or bruise upon his person to show how he had met his dreadful end. When the body had been carried from the cellar, we found ourselves still confronted with a problem which was almost as formidable as that with which we had started. I confess that so far, Watson, I had been disappointed in my investigation. I had reckoned upon solving the matter when once I had found the place referred to in the ritual, but now I was there, and I was apparently as far as ever from knowing what it was which... Hi. Yes. Oh, you're all in front of my... Yep, all in front of my face. Yeah. Sit. 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 Sit, buddy. No, don't go behind my monitor. Come on. Sit. Sit. He's rubbing up against everything, you guys. He's like, this is mine, and then this is mine, and this is mine. No, you're gonna choke yourself. Don't go that way. The wire's hanging that way. You're gonna choke yourself. No. Yep. Okay. You good? You gonna sit? Are you gonna sit now, buddy? No, you're gonna try to jump on my bookshelf? Don't jump on my bookshelf. No, those are... Sir. Sit. Sit. Sit your butt down. Sit your butt down. 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 Good boy. Good boy. You laid down. You're so good. There we go, buddy. It's such a great spot too. I can still read. Okay, I'm gonna be petting this cat here. This boy. This fluffy boy. The cat shut up and said, "My stream." Yeah, pretty much. He does this all the time. Alright. Good? Okay. You good, buddy? Yeah, all you wanted was mama pets? That's what you wanted? Okay. Well, you chill out here, okay, buddy? I forgot where I was, so I'm going to start this paragraph over again. I confess so far, Watson, that I have been disappointed in my investigation. I had reckoned upon solving the matter once I found the place referred to in the ritual, but now I was there, and apparently as far as ever from knowing what it was which the family had concealed with such elaborate precautions. It is true that I had thrown a light upon the fate of Brunton, but now I had to ascertain how that fate had come upon him, and what part had been played by the matter by the woman who had disappeared. I sat down upon a keg in the corner and thought the whole matter carefully over. You know our methods in such cases, Watson. I put myself in the man's place, and having first gauged his intelligence, myself in the man's place and having first gauged his intelligence, I try to imagine how I should myself have proceeded under the same circumstances. In this case, the matter was simplified by Brunton's intelligence being quite first-rate, so that it was unnecessary to make any allowance for the personal equation, as the astronomers have dubbed it. He knew that something valuable was concealed. He had spotted the place. He had found the stone which covered it was just too heavy for a man to move unaided. What would he do next? He could not get help from outside, even if he had someone who he could trust, but without the unbarring of doors and considerable risk of detention. It was better if he could, to have his helpmate inside the house. Who could he ask? This girl had been devoted to him. A man only finds it hard to realize that he may have finally lost a woman's love, however badly he may have treated her. He would try by a few attentions to make his peace with the girl Howells, and then would engage her as his accomplice. Together they would come at night to the cellar, and their united force would suffice to raise the stone. So far I could follow their actions as if I had actually seen them. But for two of them, and one a woman, it must have been heavy work, the raising of that stone. A burly Sussex policeman and I had found it no light job. What would they do to assist them? Probably what I should have done myself. I rose and examined carefully the different billets of wood which were scattered around the floor. Almost at once I came upon what I expected. One piece, about 3 feet in length, had a very marked indentation at one end, while several were flattened to size, as if they had been compressed by some considerable weight. Evidently, as they had dragged the stone up, they had thrust the chunks of wood into the chink, until at last, when the opening was large enough to crawl through, they would hold it open by a billet placed lengthwise, which might very well become indented at the lower end, since then the whole weight of the stone would press down on the edge of the other slab. So far, I was still on safe ground. And now how was I to proceed to reconstruct this midnight drama? Clearly only one could get into the hole, and that one was Brunton. The girl must have waited above. Brunton then unlocked the box, handed up the contents, presumably, since they were not to be found. And then what happened? Fun. Oh, hi, Cal. How you doing, buddy? How you doing, my friend? Fun Sherlock Holmes fact. Elementary, my dear Watson, is never said in the books at all. He said at one point it was elementary, and on another point, my dear Watson. But never in the same sentence. Is this the study in Scarlet? What are we up to? I'll open the page, or is this the sign of the four? This is actually the Musgrave Ritual. This is the Musgrave Ritual. And, I'm fairly into it. I'm like a good several pages into it already. 17 pages into it already. But yes, if you have the book and you have that story, you please can read along with us. It'd be great. Here we go. Where was I? And now how was I supposed to proceed to reconstruct this midnight drama? Clearly only one could get into the hole, and that one was Brunton. The girl must have waited above. Brunton then unlocked the box, handed up the contents, presumably, since they were not to be found, and then what happened? What smoldering fire of vengeance had suddenly sprung into the flame of this passionate Celtic woman's soul when she saw the man who had wronged her perhaps far more than we suspected, in her power? Was it a chance that the wood had slipped and that the stone had shut Brunton into what had become his sepulchre? Had she only been guilty of silence as to his fate, or some sudden blow from her hand that dashed the support away and sent the slab crashing down into its place? Be that as it may, I seemed to see the woman's figure still clutching at her treasure trove and flying wildly up at the winding stair with her ears ringing, perhaps with the muffled screams from behind her, and with the drumming of frenzied hands against the slab of stone which was choking her faithless lover's life out. Here was the secret of her balance. Here was the secret of her blanched fate, her shaken nerves, her peals of hysterical laughter on the next morning. But what had been in the box? What had she done with that? Of course, it must have been the old metal and pebbles in which my client had dragged from the mere. She had thrown them in there at the first opportunity to remove the last traces of her crime. Sir, get away from my monitor. Get away from the monitor. Get away from the monitor. I will spray you with this water bottle as much times as I have to. Get out from behind there. Come on. Cause you knocked it down last time. I need you not to do that again. Get. What is this? What is this today? Bad Cats Day? Naughty Kitties Day? Come on, buddy. Where are you? Where did you go? Come on. Out. Out. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Today's just like the Bad Cats Day. Cats want to misbehave. Why are you misbehaving, sir? You're usually very good. What's happened? What's wrong? Cat stream takeover. One day I'm just gonna sit here in like mild silence and just let my cats do what they want to do. Because they're just driving me bonkers. Booby especially. Like, Beans, calm down. Booby is the one acting like a butthead. Is this part of Sherlock's memoirs? I think so. Excuse me. Still very tired. I woke up fairly early this morning. I think we'll be able to get through this one story. Let's see. For 20 minutes I sat motionless, thinking of the matter out. Musgrave still stood with a very pale face, swinging his lantern and peering down in the hole. These are coins of Charles I, he said, holding out a few of which had been left in a box. You see, we were right in fixing our date for the ritual. We may find something else of Charles I, I cried, as the probable meaning of the first two questions of the ritual broke suddenly upon me. Let me see the contents of the bag you fished from the mirror. We ascended to his study, and he laid the debris before me. I could understand his regarding it of small importance when I looked at it, for the metal was almost black, and the stones lustreless and dull. I rubbed one of them on my sleeve, however, and it glowed afterward like a spark in the dark hollow of my hand. The metalwork was in the form of a double ring, but it had been bent and twisted out of its original shape. You must bear in mind, I said, the royal party made head in England even after the death of the king, and that was when they at last fled. They probably left many of their most precious possessions buried behind them, with the intention of returning for them in more peaceful times. My ancestor, Sir Ralph Musgrave, was a prominent cavalier, and the right-hand man of Charles II. Sir, really? Sit, no, down. Don't want you going behind the monitor. Down. Thank you. He's just doing circuits at this point, jumping up on the table, walking around, being a silly little butt. My ancestor, Sir Ralph Musgrave, was a prominent cavalier and the right-hand man of Charles II in his wanderings, said my friend. Ah, indeed, I answered. Well now, I think that really should give us the last link we wanted. I must congratulate you on coming into the possession, though, in a rather tragic manner, of a relic of which is great intrinsic value, but even of greater importance as an historical curiosity. What is it then? He gasped in astonishment. It's nothing less than the ancient crown of the kings of England. The crown? Precisely. Considering what the ritual says, how does it run? Whose was it? His who is gone. That was after the execution of Charles. Then, who shall have it? He who will come. That was Charles II, whose advent was already foreseen. There can, I think, be no doubt that this battered and shapeless diadem once encircled the brows of the royal stewards. And how it came in the pond? Ah, that is a question that will take some time to answer. And with that I sketched out the whole long chain of surmise and of proof which I had constructed. The twilight had closed in, and the moon was shining brightly in the sky before my narrative was finished. And how was it then that Charles did not get his crown when he returned? Asked Musgrave, pushing back the relic into the linen bag. Ah, there you lay your finger upon the one point which I shall probably never be able to clear up. It is likely the Musgrave who held the secret died in the interval, and by some oversight left his guide to his descendants without explaining the meaning of it. From that day to this, it has been handed down from father to son, until at last it came within the reach of a man who tore secrets out of it and lost his life in the venture. And that is the story of the Musgrave ritual, Watson. They have the crown down at Hurlstone, though they have some legal bother and a considerable sum to pay before they were allowed to retain it. I'm sure that if you mentioned my name, they would be happy to show it to you. Of the woman nothing was ever heard, and the probability is that she got away out of England and carried herself and the memory of her crime to some land beyond the seas. So after an hour and a half, we finally managed to finish the first story. Ah, that was stressful. Oh, these kids. And now, the kicker. Bubby has now jumped into his little hammock, and now he is relaxing and now completely satisfied with the mayhem he has caused today. Little butthead of a cat. I love him. I love him so much. Oh, I think I might have time to read another story. Why not? What the hell, right? Maybe. Wait, no, this is actually a long one. I don't think I'm gonna be able to get through it. I know! Oh, wait! Oh my, this is a long one. That's already 20 pages. Wow, that's like 25 pages. I'm not gonna be able to read all that. That was so good. I'm so glad you liked it, Clara. Clara? I'm sorry. I keep butchering your name. I'm so sorry. I'm bad with names. Please forgive me. It's so good. It's so good. Yes. I can read the next story. It's very long, but I can read it. Might be going over time a little bit. Let me look at the table of contents. Let me see. Well, all these stories are fairly long. Well, not long, but they're like all the same length. They're about 20 odd pages long. Not bad. Took forever to get through this because my cat. What do you guys think? Should I read the next story or leave it for next time? I think I'll leave it. Maybe I'll leave it for next time. That way I can just talk to you guys a little bit, because I think the last chat we had, I didn't talk to you guys very much. I wasn't feeling very chatty. I was feeling a little blue. I'm feeling pretty chatty today, though. I'm feeling pretty good. This is a good story. I love the Sherlock Holmes stories. This is like one of many books that I would love to have. That's Sherlock Holmes. One day I wanna get like the full, complete, like book or books of all the Sherlock Holmes stories. Leave it for next time? Yeah, I think I shall. Like, I like the Sherlock Holmes stories. They're some of my favorites to read. They're definitely a lot of fun. Because the next story we're gonna read, because I'm definitely coming back to the Sherlock Holmes story time. We're definitely gonna do a couple of we're definitely gonna do 2 story times until I finish reading Luna. So, next one's called The Speckled Band, then The 5 Orange Pips, The Reigate Squire, A Scandal in Bohemia, The Red-Headed League, The Final Problem, The Empty House, The Devil's Foot, and The Hounds of Baskervilles, which is one of my favorites, The Hounds of Baskervilles. You know what I could do? Oh! God, I'm knocking everything over. I'm knocking everything over! What I can do... Let's see. Whee! Bookshelf time! Where is it? I know it's here. Aha! I found it. Poetry! I have a book of poetry that I figure we could just... that I can pull up and read randomly. I have a book of... You guys, I know I'm silly, goofy. I'm a silly, goofy, single brain cell cat. But I also really like sophisticated reading. I have like an old book of poetry. It's a lot of poetry. It's like an anthology. Let's see. Let's open to a random page. There we go. Like really old poetry. I say old poetry, I mean like old. Like I actually really love poetry. I'm bad. I'm terrible at writing poetry myself. But I really do love reading poetry. Like if you told me, hey, write a poem, I'd be like, no. I'm really bad at it. I used to write it like when I was young, really young, but it was still very bad. It was terrible. I'm a better writer. I'm a better like story writer than I am poet. I don't have it in me to be a poet. Like I think you have to be really good at poetry and wordplay in order to do make good poetry, good music and things like that. I am not good at either of those things. So I end up really struggling with I end up really struggling with like writing some artistic crap like that. So. Let's see. Okay, random page. There we go. John Davies. From Musket Tipsum. The soul and the body. But how shall we in this union will express, now ties the soul, her subtlety is such, she moves the body which she doth possess, in no part toucheth, by virtue's touch. Then dwells she not therein, as in a tent, nor as a pilot in his ship doth sit, nor as a spider in his web is pent, nor as the wax retain the print in it, nor as a vessel water doth contain, nor as one liquor in another shed, nor as the heat doth in the fire remain, nor as a voice throughout the air is spread. But as the fair and cheerful morning light doth here and there her silver beams impart, and in an instant doth herself unite to the transparent air, and all in part. Still resting whole when blows the air divide, abiding pure when there is most corrupted. Throughout the air her beams dispersed wide, and when the air is tossed, not interrupted. So doth the piercing soul the body fill, being all in part diffused, indivisible, incorruptible still, not forced, encountered, troubled, or confused. And as the sun above the light doth bring, though we behold it in the air below, so from the eternal light the soul doth spring, though in the body she her powers do show. That was pretty. That was a pretty one. I don't know if you guys are okay with poetry, but I'm gonna read a few poems just to pan out the time, but also just to kind of, open some dialogue. Do you guys like poetry? Do you guys have any favorite poets or writers that you enjoy? Any of the old school or the new school or whatever may be? I'm always open to learning about new writers. I love learning about new writers. I always like seeing new stories coming out, new content. Not just novels and stuff like that, but like poetry or memoirs or biographies or things like that. Not always just fiction. There are a lot of funny thing about poetry is like there are a lot of love poems. There are a lot of love poems. And I don't know. Maybe I'm not that much of a maybe I'm not that romantic. Maybe I don't have a romantic soul. That's probably why I can't write poetry. That's why I can't write poetry. I don't have a romantic soul. I am a romantic. I could totally be a romantic, but I'm not a romantic soul. I can't express my feelings in words. I'm definitely the kind of person that expresses their feelings through action. Like, I say I love you all the time, but, you know, my love language is more physical than it is written or verbal. Some people struggle with the verbal. Not everybody has different love languages, you know? You know, some people like to express their feelings in writing or in art. Some people are good at showing, you know, the physical side instead. You know, some people struggle with the love languages, you know? Not just like romantic love, but also like familial love and, you know, platonic love, things like that. Everyone has a different love language depending on the person they're with. Like for me, I tell you guys I love you all the time because I do! You guys are amazing and wonderful, and my love language is, since I can't hug each and every one of you, because I am a hugger, I am someone that will give a bunch of hugs. I gotta tell you guys I love you, because I do. I love you guys so very much. You guys are wonderful and amazing. I shower you guys with compliments because I mean them. And that's my love language for all of you. Because again, I can't hug each and every one of you. If I had the ability to hug each and every one of you, I would do it. And I give squishy, like, rib crushing hugs. So you guys would get the best kind of hugs from me. Yeah, I don't know. I think depending on the person you're with, your love languages are often very different. What are your guys' love languages? Like, I'm always curious to learn about other people's love languages. Because mine's is very much touch-based and action-based, rather than just words. You know? Like I said, I will say I love you, but, you know, after a while, I'm just like, meh. It's like, you know I love you. I don't have to say it all the time. I do, because some people prefer having the words of affirmation rather than, rather than just physical touch. Some people are very uncomfortable with that, and that's also something I respect. I always try to expand my ways of expressing affection. If that makes any sense. Because some people, like I said, some people are very uncomfortable with hearing that someone telling them they love them. Some people prefer it being shown through action. Some people prefer being told. I gotta make myself a bookmark real quick. I keep losing I'm so bad with bookmarks. Like, I can get a really nice bookmark from a nice stationery shop or whatever, but I always end up losing them somehow. Like, they get misplaced and then they're gone forever. And this house of ours, while it is a normal house, things still somehow manage to disappear. One point, creator was like, "Oh, are you sure it's not an anomaly making things disappear?" It's like, no, I know I put it down somewhere, but it could have been moved. Because if it was an anomaly, I would be able to sniff it out. Or the security cameras would find out, We do have them in the main parts of the house because we tend to have so many of our assistants come through fairly often. So, try to keep the house safe. It's important that we do. Not like any private rooms or anything, then. My creator may be my creator does a lot of things, but creep is not one of them. So. Oh my god, my Discord. What is going on with my Discord? It's been... are you guys busy in my Discord? I appreciate the heck out of that. Maybe the cat hides them. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised. My cats are good at knocking things down. If there's something in particular that they are interested in and they like, they would probably knock it down and hide it somewhere or play with it to the point where it goes missing. Like bat it around until it just disappears. Would not surprise me in the least, I'll be honest. I'm just folding a piece of notebook paper. Or very small notebooks, like one of those tiny little chubby notebooks that you take like really quick notes on. I tend to have those around to take notes so that I forget things. You guys already know I have terrible memory problems, so I tend to forget things very often. So I like to keep notes every time. What's happening in my Discord? I'm gonna check what's going on in my Discord. What are you guys doing? Claria, is that your artwork? Holy moly, that's so pretty! It's so good! Claudia, your art is so good. I love it. It's so pretty. I could never. It is so pretty. It is so pretty. Your artwork is so pretty. I love it. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. I love it. I love it so much. Now I'm even more excited to see what you're gonna do. I'm so more excited to see what you're gonna do in the fan art. It's so it's gonna be so exciting. I'm excited already. I mean, of course, like I said, take your time. You know, life gets in the way, so do your thing first and foremost. But just know I am excited to see. I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see what you're gonna come up with. Oh, that's so pretty. I love seeing all your talented art. Everybody, I do. You're all so talented. Like seriously, I can't get over how amazingly talented you guys are. Just fix some stuff. I see your guys' artwork and stuff, and I'm just so, I don't know. I'm kind of goofy right now, because I'm just like, I'm so cute. He's so cute. Izu as well. I don't know, Izu, are you here? I don't know if you're here, but your artwork is so pretty too. I don't know if you're lurking or you're just not here, but you know. Izu, your art is also really pretty. You know. And I feel you on the lazy artist syndrome. I get like that too. I'll start a sketch and just never finish it. You guys, you're so talented. You're all so talented. You're so talented and amazing. Even if some of you are not good at art, I know you're talented in other ways. And you're so good. So good. So good. Let's see. Let's see if I have another poem. Another poem. That one's in French. I can't read French. You would think they would you would think that people who publish poems would post the translations in English, you know, because this book is mostly in English, but that was one poem in French. It's funny. I can't read French. As you probably may have noticed, if I had any French words, I would butcher it because I'm not good at speaking French. Another poem? Yeah, why the hell not? John Keats. Now, Keats is a popular poet and writer from Endymion. Alright, let's see. I'm gonna read this. Oh, it's a long boy. Alright, I'm gonna read it. And that'll be the last thing I read for today's lovely stream. Tea. Oh, my tea is cold now. But, yeah, still good. Still very, very good. I don't know any poets unless it's like Aristotle or something. I'm pretty sure we have an Aristotle in here somewhere. Hold on, let me look at the table of contents real quick. That's preface, publisher's notes. Because these are not in like alphabetical order, they're just like very, very random assortment of poetry. I see no Aristotle. However, I did find Homer, Sappho, Confucius, Virgil, Horace, Ovid. A lot of those kind of oldies. St. Francis of Assisi, Dante Alighieri, Chaucer, Lorenzo de Medici, Martin Luther, the original Martin Luther, Elizabeth I. Let's see, what else? Robert Greene, William Shakespeare, of course, a bunch of poetry or a bunch of lines from different stories. William Shakespeare, let's see, there's some from The Tempest, The Two Gentlemen of Verona, Much Ado About Nothing, Love, Labor is Lost, A Midsummer's Night Dream, As You Like It, The Merchant of Venice, Twelfth Night, Cymbeline, The Sonnets, King Henry V. Of course there's a whole shit ton from William Shakespeare. Good old Wigglesworth Shakespeare. Let's go. Good old Billy Shakespeare. I love him. I remember back in religion class, my friend was supposed to write an essay about Martin Luther, but he did Martin Luther King Jr. instead on accident. I can see how that could be very confusing. I got some work. See you next time. Bye, Kay, Wasabi, chat. By the way, remember reality is an illusion and the universe is a hologram. Bye, Gold. Bye, Kakarot. You have a wonderful rest of your day. Have a good time out. Work hard, but not too hard. Take breaks. And we'll see you tomorrow. Let's see, what else is here? Who else is here? John Davies, another one. George Crabbe, of course. Oh, here is a long one. Marie-Françoise Catherine de Beauveau, La Marquise de Beaufleurs. That was the best that I could read that. Buy high, sell low? Yeah. A lot of anonymous writers as well. Let's see. There's John Keats, which I have right here in front of me. Robert Browning, another one. Herman Melville, I believe. Herman Melville, wasn't that the person who wrote Moby Dick? I believe that's the person who wrote Moby Dick. Let's see, Walt Whitman, Dante Gabriel Rossetti, Benjamin Franklin King Jr., Thomas Hardy, William Butler Yeats, everyone knows Yeats. Not Yeat, but Yeats, Y-E-A-T-S. White whale? Yes, the white whale. The swimmy boy. The giant swimmy boy. Ezra Pound, Hilda Doolittle, T.S. Eliot. T.S. Eliot, that's the dude who wrote Lion, Witch, no, was it the dude who wrote Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe? No, right? And of course E.E. Cummings. Yeah, Dante was a weirdo. He wrote he was one of the OG fanfic writers. He wrote a fanfic about himself in the Bible. He wrote himself as a character in the Bible. That's fan fiction right there. That's old school fan fiction. It was funny. It was so funny. Oh my god, excuse me. Where did that big yawn come from? I'm probably still very tired. I think after this stream, I'm gonna take a nap. I woke up very early today. I woke up like at 6. That feels very early for me. I usually wake up around 8:30, but I woke up at 6 today. I was very tired. I'm very tired. Let me read this poem before we close off this whole thing. By John Keats. Let's see. But yeah, Dante was a weirdo. I think he had a thing for Daddy Satan. It says like, I entered heaven and walked with my friend St. John. We played games. That is true. He had a thing. He had a thing for it. It's just fan fiction, my guy. It's just fan fiction. It's funny. It's so funny because it's just fan fiction. Like, you don't do self-inserts unless it's fan fiction. Everyone knows that. Well, that's how you know a story is. That's how you know a story is popular, when people write fan fiction. I can't imagine how much very old fan fiction of the Bible was made back in the day. Like, way back in the day. You know what I mean? Like, because Dante did it, I mean. Who's to say other people haven't done it? It's funny. The idea of the Bible having fan fiction, for some reason, tickles me. It tickles me pink. I love that. Freaking fan fiction. I love it. Alright, let me read this. Oh no. I know I'm going to hell, so, you know. I'm not even worried about taking the ride down. I'm enjoying the ride. You could probably consider some of the New Testament fanfic that got I mean, you're not wrong. Listen, my mind is every time a new version of the Bible comes out, every New Testament, every new printed version or whatever it may be, I always consider that to be an additional fanfiction to what's already canon. Like, we've lost the canon so long ago that the fanfiction has gotten more popular. Like 50 Shades of Grey. That started off as like Twilight fanfiction and then it became its own thing. That's what the Bible is. The Bible is like the OG. It's like the OG 50 Shades of Grey. It's just it just became a fanfiction that got really popular enough to make its own content. I'm going to hell. I'm sorry. If this is blasphemous to any Christians or Catholics out there, I'm sorry, but I'm not religious. I respect your religion, but I'm going to make fun of it. I make fun of everything. Is fair game. I'll make fun of everything. Okay. Don't think that I'm particularly targeting just like the Bible. I'll target anybody, but in this case, the Bible is pretty prevalent. Ow! What the hell? Oh, there's a nail sticking out of the wall. Ow! I just hit my bare toe against the nail sticking out of the wall. But like the floor, like near the floor. Ow! Ow! That hurt. Ow! I guess I'm gonna have to pull that nail out. Ow! Your mother, you stupid wall. Like, I just scraped my whole big toe against that nail. I was like putting my foot on the wall. My feet are clean, don't worry. I have like a carpet here to cushion my feet so they're not touching the dirty floor. Not that the floor is dirty, but you know, cat hair and everything. But ow, that hurt. Rip big toe for real. Rip my big toe. What happened to the cherry on the cake? It's a pudding and it flew off. It does that sometimes. It just flies off. It'll come back eventually. It comes back eventually. But look how it jiggle. Look for it jiggle. Every time I move it jiggles. Jiggle, 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 jiggle. It has jiggle physics. Something that I may never have. Jiggle physics. Jiggle, 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 jiggle. It's amazing. I love it. I love it. But yeah. So I was thinking maybe tonight, if not tonight, maybe tonight I might do. I think I'm gonna do a Discord stream later. If not tonight, maybe tomorrow. I don't know. I was gonna do one last night, but then I was like, no, I'm really tired. I'm gonna go to sleep. But I think I might do one tonight. You know, have a couple of drinks, hang out with the homies. I mean, you guys. have just a regular Discord stream. a Discord only stream, maybe play a game, maybe just watch a movie. I don't know yet. I'm thinking about it. If I don't do it today, I might do it tomorrow. What am I gonna do with that fat bit? I don't have a fat bit. I have a normal sized, serviceable seat of the pants. I wish I had booty. I wish I had more booty. Not that I don't have any booty, but I wish I had like a noticeably like nicer booty. Like my butt survives. My butt does the job just perfectly fine, but I don't have a donk. You know what I mean? The pudding butt. Yeah, the pudding butt. I'm just saying. I wish I had a butt. Like this pudding has more jiggle than I ever will. Like, look at it. It has more jiggle than I ever will. I don't have jiggle physics. I wish I did. That'd be fun. You can make a Star Cameo appearance? Of course! You can totally join me. Listen. I enjoy... If I do a Discord stream, of course I'm gonna want to hang out with you. Since my Discord streams are interactive, I'm just gonna put myself up on the screen and talk to all of you. You're all lovely and wonderful. Being able to talk to you guys and have some fun and just hang out and chill. It's something I enjoy. I haven't done a Discord stream in a while. So I definitely want to be able to get to do that again. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do a Discord stream. Maybe tonight. I'll let you guys know. If you see me, just keep an eye on Discord. If you see me on Discord, just know I'm streaming on Discord. Oh man, I messed up my bookmark. I had it so perfectly folded and then I goofed it up by messing with it. Oh well. My moves have jiggle like that. Listen! Let them jiggle, let them wiggle. If they work, they work. You know? Ain't nothing wrong with a little bit of man meat jiggling. So, the movie man meats. Let them jiggle. Let them shake. Put the jiggle in the wiggle. Or put the wiggle in the jiggle, or whatever. However that goes. Ah! I ruined my bookmark. I'll have to make a new one. Oh, damn my ADHD. But, you know what? Screw this poem. I'm done. I don't think I can read anymore. I don't even think I have the attention span to read anymore. I'm gonna go outside and touch grass before it starts to rain. Take a nice long walk. Now I'm a poser. I'm built like Slender Man. Minor jiggle. All the power to you, okay? Listen. I am chunky. I am a chunky squish, okay? I am someone that you can comfortably hug and fall asleep on like a human pillow. However, I wish I could be like a little bit thinner. I like myself exactly, like don't get me wrong, I like myself exactly the way I am. I like myself. I'm perfectly happy with what I have with myself. I don't want to lose weight just for the sake of my health because unfortunately my medication makes me gain weight, unfortunately. So that's gonna be something I'm gonna struggle with for like ever. Because I can't stop taking this medication or else I will die. I will absolutely 100% go into complete bodily failure. But minor jiggle. Hey, you still got the jiggle, so make that jiggle do the wiggle, okay? Even if it is just a little bit. Anywho, I know. Me and my squishy self is gonna go outside and touch some grass. I got laundry. I gotta do laundry. I gotta do laundry, so I'm probably gonna do that. Touch some grass. Get some fresh air. That's something I've been trying to do. Like, with everything that's happened lately. Who the fuck is that? Probably mail. It's probably some mail. But, with everything that has happened lately, I'm just gonna let them leave it at the door. I don't care. With everything that's happened lately, I'm trying to do better in taking care of myself. From working from home and stuff for the longest time, I've kind of, not let myself go, but I've stopped being as active as I usually like to be. So what I'm gonna do, I'm doing some life changes. I'm gonna try to be more active, more proactive. You know, try to change up my lifestyle a little bit, because, things are different now. Ever since my grandmother passed, things are different. I don't have to stay home anymore, you know? So I'm gonna go outside and take a walk. I have the freedom to do so now. I don't have to worry about whether or not my grandmother's gonna fall over or be ill anymore, or, you know, things like that. That was one of the biggest reasons why I work from home. Just because, you know, I didn't want to leave her home alone. I miss her very much. I do. I miss her very, very much. I do truly miss her very much, but it's a weird kind of freedom to have now that I have that I'm still getting used to. I'm slowly adjusting to that. I don't have to worry about taking care of her anymore. She's in rest now, so I don't know. I have a bit more freedom and I don't know what to do with it. It's so weird. It's so surreal. It's so surreal. So, you know, it's all an adjustment. But I'm taking the steps to take better care of myself and slowly improve myself as a person. Both physically, health-wise, mentally, and things like that, lifestyle-wise. Not to say that I wasn't taking care of myself before, but you know, when you're taking care of somebody who's ill, who has like not so much mobility issues, but like very much has a tendency to fall over, hit their head, forget things. You don't want to leave them home alone, because then you never know what could happen. More than one occasion, my grandmother has fallen over and hurt herself, so I want to make sure that she never did. You know, I stayed home, I worked from home to take care of her. But it's weird now that I have this freedom. It's so weird, it's so surreal, you know? And I'm slowly adjusting to it, so I'm gonna take the advantage, and take better care of myself now. Now I have the time to focus on myself, which is a little strange. Cartwheels, I can't do a cartwheel to save my life. I couldn't do it even when I was a kid. But I'll be doing cartwheels soon enough, I promise you that. But yeah, I'm gonna go take care of myself more. I gotta take better care of my health, my physical health, and mental health, and things like that. So, I'm gonna go take a walk. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. That's bad if you stream at night and sleep. Well, I'm not gonna stream late at night. I'm not. I have a fixed time where I go to sleep. I like to be in bed at least by midnight, latest. The latest. 10 o'clock usually is. 10 o'clock at night is usually when I'm getting myself ready for bed, because I like being able to get 8 hours of sleep. Don't worry, like, if I stream later in the evening, it'll probably be around, like, 6, 7 o'clock in the evening. Not too late. Not too late. 6, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Or Eastern Daylight Time. I don't even know what they call it anymore. So, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, maybe by then. I don't know. Maybe earlier, maybe earlier by an hour. Just like I said, if you see me online, don't be afraid to stop, come by, say hi. You know, say hi. I'll probably already be a couple of beers in by then. I'm not an alcoholic, I promise. I'm not an alcoholic. I don't drink very much, but every once in a while I want a nice craft beer. I might be asleep by then 6 a.m. for me, so you're 6 p.m. That is also true. But like I said, if you're awake and you see me online, then yeah, don't be afraid to stop by. I have a bit more flexibility to stream now, but since I gotta go take care of stuff, I'm probably gonna have that free time to do that a little later. Like I said, it might be earlier, it might be later. Like I said, if you just see me online, don't be a stranger, come by, say hi, okay? So, remember, hug your friends, tell someone you love them, and be a force for good in the world, because goodness knows the world needs more goodness. I'm gonna go do some adulting stuff, and then I'm gonna go and be irresponsible. And by that I mean buy some low percentage alcohol and maybe make some dinner. I don't know. I love you guys so very much, and I'll see you tomorrow for whatever the hell we're doing tomorrow. I love you guys. Mwah, 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 mwah. Take care of yourselves. Bye.